What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chimney Comics. It's just me. Just me. Today I'm going to be talking about the 11th Doctor, who I would consider my Doctor, if I'm being honest. If I had to look back at all of Doctor Who and say, is there one Doctor who I would rather travel with over any other? And it would probably be this man, Matt Smith, who I would want to travel with. Just based on a bunch of different things. And yes, the Doctor lies, but he seems the kindest Doctor, in my opinion. He seems the nicest one. He seems like the one who would go out of his way, well, besides the 12th Doctor, who would go out of his way to make sure you had a good time in the TARDIS. But regardless of that fact, Doctor Who's not been fun recently for me. I fell out on the 13th Doctor era of Jodie Whittaker. Not because of Jodie. Jodie's a great actor or actress. I just fell out of it because the writing. Chris Chibnall, I wasn't a fan of any of his works before he took over the reins from Stephen Moffat. I just really wasn't a big fan of it. And, you know, looking back at her era, there's not really any notable episodes where I'm like, yeah, that's where she's the Doctor. That's the one. While Matt Smith kind of had episode 1, I'm the Doctor, and it makes sense. Now, granted, the very first episode I saw of Doctor Who was an 11th Doctor episode. So I should clarify that. So I'm biased to the 11th Doctor. But one thing I learned, you know, during the Jodie Whittaker era was you don't have to be just watching a TV show to get your fix of Doctor Who, which I, to this day, think is one of the greatest television shows of all time, besides The Twilight Zone and other anthology things. But that's what Doctor Who is, in a way. It's its own anthology, just with different Doctors filling in those graphs. But regardless, let's get to the point of the video.
Well then, Valerie Lockwood, it's all out there, waiting for us. Blazing skies, cities built of hope and heartbreak, every great part that ever was and ever will be. Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
Well, in that case, Geronimo.
Which is, the 11th Doctor's back with a new season of Doctor Who. And if you didn't know this as a Doctor Who fan, that the 11th Doctor has a whole new season that no one really knows about, but there's episodes that are insanely good in it, now you know. So Big Finish Productions is a audio production company over in the UK, led by Sir Nicholas Briggs, who, if you don't know, he voices the Daleks, he voices the Cybermen, monsters in Doctor Who. He's known for it. He runs a audio production company that specializes in things like Doctor Who. They also do some other stuff as well. But Doctor Who's the main one that I'm listening to. So, Big Finish Productions, they came out with many, many older Doctor stories. If you're interested in learning about the 8th Doctor, for example, Paul McGann, there's only 2 episodes, 3 technically, 2 cameo, or 1 cameo, 1 full movie, and then a 8-minute episode on the 60th. If you're interested in learning about him, his companions, and, you know, all that, that's only told in Big Finish. Besides, you know, books, comics, and stuff like that. But if you really wanted, like, a Doctor Who, episode by episode, you know, 9th Doctor kind of 60-minute episodes, the 8th Doctor's not bad. And they're great. I highly recommend the 8th Doctor. But there's been nothing more that I have been impressed with than the 11th Doctor Chronicles. So the 11th Doctor Chronicles, you can get them on Big Finish website. There's an app you can get on iPhone. I do them for long car drives, and they are perfect. They are perfect episodes of Doctor Who. The 11th Doctor Chronicles follows. It is set in between the time of the Angels Take Manhattan and the Bells of St. John. So 7A and 7B, it's set between it. And it is an entire new season. Now, at the time of recording, the last 3 episodes of the season have not came out yet. So they haven't been released yet. But I just want to say, I am so impressed. Like, some of my favorite 11th Doctor stories are in this audio-only drama episode, audio-only, full cast audios. Some of the best Doctor Who content, not just 11th Doctor, Doctor Who content are in this box set. And it's honestly crazy to think about that. But I'm in love with it, and I had to make this video to tell you, go out and watch a new season of Matt Smith's Doctor. If you miss old Doctor Who, 11th Doctor Who, Shooty Gap was great to just start now. I really like Russell T as well. But if you want to go back to the days of watching Matt Smith, this takes you right back, and it's amazing. So this box set, or these box sets, there's each one comes with 3 episodes. They're all an hour long, and they've all got. There's not one episode where I'd be like, that was a bad one. Really, honestly, even the average episodes, I'm like, that's great. So I highly recommend looking into the 11th Doctor Chronicles. It follows the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, and Valerie Lockwood, who is his companion for this box set. And Valerie Lockwood is a great companion. She is honestly a really great companion. She is from the future, so she's a little different than most modern day companions, because they're all from the modern day just about. She's different because of that. She's an android. She's got cybernetics. She's a badass too. She does a lot of badass stuff with robot, parts and stuff like that, which makes her a great character. And there's a lot of emotional episodes to these box sets. Specifically, one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes ever in audio form is on the Big Finish. It is in one of these box sets, and it's called, let's see here, it's called The Curiosity Shop. It is in the All of Time and Space box set of the 11th Doctor Chronicles. Go out and listen to that. That is amazing. Basically, the summary of this story is, what if the Doctor has lost his memory and he's trying to remember who he is on this planet, and what does a companion do while she's waiting for that? How does she help the Doctor? So, and by the way, the 11th Doctor is not Matt Smith. He is not voiced by Matt Smith anywhere in these audios. It's not Matt Smith. However, if you listen to this and you hear Matt Smith, you're going to be fooled. You are going to easily be fooled. So the Doctor, the 11th Doctor, is voiced by Jacob Dudman. Jacob Dudman is a long history of voicing various Doctors, but Matt Smith is the best one. That is the best 11th Doctor, honestly, that I've heard. There's been many episodes where I'm like, yep, that's the Doctor. Yep, that's Matt Smith. So don't let that bother you. So this isn't voiced by Matt Smith, but it's great. It's a really great impression. So in this particular episode that I'm talking about, the Doctor is obviously trying to remember his identity, who he is, while Valerie Lockwood is trying to help him. She's trying to help him learn who he is. And he starts out as this junkyard salesman, which throws us back to 1963 when William Hartnell lands in a junkyard, old box in a junkyard. She's trying to get him to remember the TARDIS. She keeps telling him, hey, let's look at the TARDIS together, trying to get him to jam back his memories. Jacob Dudman goes through every single Doctor with a different impression as Matt Smith. So it's the 11th Doctor, but using the 9th Doctor's voice and mannerisms, or it's the 11th Doctor doing a fabulous John Pertwee 3rd Doctor, and just having chats with Valerie, and it's just an amazing episode. All the while Valerie's sacrificing, because he's a junker, he likes to buy parts. So considering she's an android, she's ripping out her eye and giving it to him. She's ripping off ripping off different cybernetics that help her posture, and she's just ripping off all this stuff to sell to him. And all the while, it's actually the Doctor tricking her in a way too, subconsciously tricking her to defeat, as Doctor does, defeat an alien who's trying to evade above. He's using the parts that she gives him to build whatever the deterrent is. It's amazing. It is honestly one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who, and that's why I'm telling you about this, because it's amazing. There's also a lot of episodes. I'm going to just go through my favorite episodes from each box set. So the first one, obviously, is called, just FYI, the 11th Doctor Chronicles with this new companion, where the story starts in 7B. It doesn't actually start until, I believe this is volume 3. It's the 11th Doctor Chronicles Volume 3. If you work your way up from that, they have a bundle to where you can get all the volumes after that. But the first one's called Geronimo, came out in October of 2022. And the first episode is called The Inheritance. It's basically like any other companion story. It's, hey, let's introduce you to Valerie Lockwood. Who is she? What's her motivations? Here's her family. And it does a really good job. Obviously, the 11th Doctor is on a journey to learn about Clara. So he wants to find Clara Oswald again. This is set after the Snowman as well. And he's just trying to find her. So the whole story is him taking Valerie as a companion, but in his head he's like, I'm trying to find Clara. And he even mentions that multiple times. They're also there's an evil kind of overarching, one of the Moffat things of, hey, let's drizzle you with these little tiny, little tidbits about a overarching villain. Somebody's giving them a phone call and leading them places, and each episode kind of focuses on that, or it gives a little tidbit on that. So my favorite episode in this box set is called The Inheritance. So that's just the introduction of Valerie Lockwood. But they're all really great. The House of Mask is really good as well. The End, I wasn't that big of a fan of The End, but it was still cool. All of Time and Space is really good as well. It starts out with All of Time and Space, which is basically, what if a writer came up with Doctor Who? Well, not if a writer came up with Doctor Who, but it's basically, hey, there's a writer who's writing Doctor Who, and then he's being communicated with by the real Doctor Who. It's absurd. It only works in audio, but it's really good. So that one isn't my favorite episode of All of Time and Space, which came out in February. Curiosity Shop is my favorite episode, which was the one I was just talking about earlier. Curiosity Shop is the one with the Doctor going through all of his incarnations while trying to save a planet and remember who he is. And then the most recent one came out in December of 2023. It's called Everywhere and Anywhere. And oh my god, this one's tough. This one is the best box set. And it's the most recent one. I can't tell you what my favorite episode is, because they're all my favorite episodes. Spirit of the Season is basically a evil Clara, who's not Clara Oswald, but a creature who preys on fears and emotions and hopelessness. It's set in Christmas time, so it's like, okay, I'm going to make people really happy because it's Christmas time, and then I'm going to take it all away from them because it makes them more hopeless, and I can feed on that. Spirit of the Season is a great, wonderful episode. It features, all of, hey, let's try to capitalize on the 11th Doctor's fears. Let's try to, it mentions the loss of his companions, the most recent Clara's death, the most recent loss of Amy and Rory. Great episode. All's Fair follows that up with with an episode that's set in Chicago, and some monsters, kind of like almost like werewolves. They were almost like werewolves, and it's all tied to Valerie, and then she's got a love interest as well that follows from the last box set, and it's just all about her. I'll leave it at that because there's some spoilers that happen there that impact the whole arc, which is really great. But then the last one, it wraps up with Sins of the Flesh, which is the last episode that I just listened to today. Sins of the Flesh is about Cybermen and religion and conversion. conversion therapy, basically, is what it's about. It's about conversion therapy. How the Cybermen take advantage of this religion, basically, and the adults who are wanting to convert their children and make them perfect. Well, the Cybermen just use that to their advantage, and they start converting people through that and disguising the Cyberman outfits as basically cyber conversions. They're cyber conversions. They're like, hey, we'll convert you, but you can put on these redemption pods and you'll be redeemed. But no, they're just Cybermen. And it's the 11th Doctor trying to explain to people why they need to not do that. It's a great episode. Some more callbacks to Amy and Rory near the end of the episode, which were really heartwarming. There's some of the best 11th Doctor speeches ever, honestly, in my opinion, ever, in these box sets. So if you like the 11th Doctor, if you like Matt Smith, and, if you like his era, go watch it. Go listen to these Big Finish audio admissions. I highly recommend going out and listening to the 11th Doctor Chronicles by Big Finish. Anyways, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you go out and watch these, and if you do, let me know if you liked it. Anyways, that's the video, guys. Have a good one.